Hey everyone, I just want to give a quick video update regarding the Board of Trustees meeting last night. Last night we had several meetings. We had a special meeting, a conference agenda, and then an executive session. And I'll just kind of briefly go over what we went over in each of those. And of course, if you want a much more comprehensive understanding of what happened, I would suggest watching the actual video of the meeting or reading the minutes. The first, in the special meeting before we really got started, we had a couple announcements. The first was that there's a water quality public forum this Thursday, 7:30 in Village Hall. There'll be a public meeting, and there will be representatives from the state, Department of Environmental Protection, and Health and Human Services that will be there to answer questions about water quality. That will be televised, and it will also be online. The minutes will be online after the meeting. And next, we had just a continual reminder of the Downtown After Sundown concert series every Friday, Saturday night. It's a great event. The last couple weeks have been really excellent. Some of the, really good bands and a lot of folks out hanging out downtown. And that's about at 7:30 to 10 every Friday and Saturday night on Sloan Street and in Spiota Park. We also talked a little bit about scooter shelter parking. The parking authority then informed us that the covered shelter parking were all full, but there's some uncovered spots left. First come, first serve. So contact the parking authority if you're interested in those. And the Main Street Farmers Market will be every Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And also, just a shout out to Main Street and all the volunteers who helped put Celebrate South Orange together, which, despite a little bit of rain throughout the day, was a really great event. And we really appreciate all the people who got involved to make that happen. Next, we routinely, we had a couple presentations that were supposed to be scheduled for last night. One by the Citizens Public Safety Committee and one by the Community Coalition on Race. Both of those presentations were rescheduled to the July 11th meeting. Next, we then routinely approved our minutes. We moved on to public comments, and I really don't want to get into each of these here, but I will just kind of mention what people brought up. The first was the charter schools. We also had some public comments about hiring practices, and we had some public comments about the prom showcase, and also Gaslights Out. If you want to know a little bit more about each of those, definitely recommend going into the minutes and watching the video and seeing the full discussion. We had some resolutions on the consent agenda, which basically just means that all of the resolutions are approved at once. I won't list each of those here, but you can go to the agenda even or the minutes and take a look at what those resolutions were. We then moved in to approve, as part of the consent agenda, our executive session. And I'll just list the items that were on the agenda for the executive session. Green Acres acquisition, Firehouse renovation arbitration, East Orange Water Commission, South Orange Associates v. South Orange, Bifus property, the PBA employee grievance, Board of Health reappointments, volunteer applications, and review and update of personnel policies. Each of those were discussed in executive session because they fall under one of the exceptions that allow us to discuss a meeting in closed session rather than in an open public meeting. Contract, litigation, personnel matters, for example, fall under those exceptions. We then briefly convened as the Alcohol Beverage Control Board and reapproved all 13 liquor licenses in South Orange. And then we moved into our conference agenda meeting. Conference agenda meeting is a little different than a special or regular meeting, where the conference agenda, we don't take official action, but rather just discuss issues as the board as a whole in front of the public. So we had a couple announcements to start off with. The first is that a representative from Congressman Pascrell's office will be in Village Hall the fourth Monday of every month at 7 p.m. Prior to the regularly scheduled Board of Trustees meeting, and they are there to discuss any matters in concern to South Orange residents. The next is the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. The next meeting is Wednesday, July 6th at 7 p.m., and that is in room 506 in the Hall of Records in Newark. And then we went through each of our reports from each of the committees. And to keep this brief, I'm just going to go through who made each of the reports. And if you want to learn a little bit more about each of those, you can go into the minutes and take a look. And what I'd love to be able to provide for the public at some point is very short summaries of those report backs, 1 or 2 paragraphs that we produce for the meeting to make it a little easier for people to kind of keep up to date on what the committees are doing. The first was the Finance and Information Technology Committee, mostly going over IT projects that are being worked on. The Planning and Zoning Committee, which also included a discussion about the Special Improvement District, and there's actually a public meeting on July 20th at 8 p.m. about the Special Improvement District. Residents, business owners, all are invited to come, and that is at the Loft at SOPAC. There was also then a Parking Authority update, and the Rec and Cultural Affairs Committee, and talking a little bit about some of the scheduling over the summer, and that the YMCA is going to be providing some of that basketball programming, which is great. The Legal and Personnel Committee gave their report. Public Works and Infrastructure Committee gave their report, and the Village Engineer also then gave an update of all the infrastructure projects, paving and such that are going on around town. The Public Safety Committee did give their report, and then something new last night was a report back from the Village President. I think the Village President should be similarly required, as the committees are, to give a report in each of the conference agenda meetings to make sure both to update the board and update the public as to what the Village President is working on. As the Village President, similar to a standing committee, does do a lot of work outside of the board meetings. I think it's important to make sure the public does know what's going on in that regard. And I'll be giving a much larger presentation in a couple weeks about everything that I've been working on so far, and my ideas sort of integrated with the board's ideas of how we're going to move forward. The one thing that I will mention from my report was that I did announce at least the first set of some office hours, 3:30 to 6:30 on Tuesday. People are welcome to stop by during those times. I will guaranteed be here. If you want to make an appointment, please do so, atorpey@southorange.org, just to make sure that someone else isn't here. And of course, I'm in Village Hall pretty much 7 days a week, and people are certainly welcome to schedule a time outside of that 3:30 to 6:30. What I hope to do is just provide a couple times throughout the week where people know I'm here, and they can stop by if they want to. We had some discussion as a board as a whole. Mary Lawn of the Orange's Tie Ribbon campaign to raise awareness for breast cancer. There was a Charter Review Committee update, and that committee will be presenting to the Board of Trustees on the 26th. We discussed a little bit about dormant committees, and that will be part of the Board of Trustees planning meeting, which I'll get to in a second, of looking at making sure that those committees are efficient and structured in the best way to encourage productivity. We had a volunteer directory that was updated by Trustee Goldberg, and then our Village Council spoke about a few different ordinances, the first being bicycle lane crosswalks, the second being political campaign signs, where the village previously was charging a fee and had a permit application process, which is being repealed in protection of constitutionally protected political free speech. And the last was an ordinance establishing and increasing all fees, setting a unified fee schedule for the village. We had an East Orange water update, and then a proposed resolution from the Environmental Commission about the regulation of natural gas development in the Delaware River Basin. Then we discussed our Board of Trustees planning meeting, which will be Monday at 7 p.m. At Seton Hall. I don't have the room announced, but we will post that online, so if you want to know that exact information, you can go to the calendar on the website and look that up. Basically a chance for the board to get together, talk about our goals, our values, how we plan on moving forward over the next couple years. We did talk about a naming committee for a plaque for a South Orange resident and vet, and then we spoke about the prom showcase. And the real update there is that it does look as though some logistical issues are being worked out, but that it's definitely moving forward as being hosted at SOPAC, which is going to be really great to be able to bring that event to our Performing Arts Center. So that's pretty much everything we went over from the special meeting to the conference agenda to the executive session. And again, this is just meant as a brief update overview of what we talked about. But if you want to really see the content and sink your teeth into that, you read the minutes that are available online or watch the video. And of course, you're certainly welcome to email me or anybody else with any questions that you might have on any particular issues. Thanks for watching. I hope this update was helpful, and definitely keep a lookout for more in the future. Thanks.